welcome to ECETI. I'm James Gilliland. It's been a while since I've been on the air, and people want to get an update. We already did an update of the court case, so you can go to ECETI Stargate and check that out. And also the July 4th Independence update as well. But today is all about the Pleiadians, and I just got back from a vision quest up on the mountain and got some incredible downloads from the Pleiadians and talking about what's happening. So it's very important to realize right now that we are in the days of change. You know, we can't deny this any longer. This isn't prophecy anymore. It's scientific fact. It's statistics. The earthquakes and volcanic activity is off the scale right now. The erratic weather, the severe thunderstorms, hailstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, all this stuff is just off the scale right now. And there's a lot of tinkering being done as well with technology. And I want to talk a little bit about that because we're entering the same epoch, the same time period as the ancient Atlantis and Lemurian times. And there's a difference though, because this time there's more of a momentum for shifting into the ascension process as in the past. But we need to know our past so we don't recreate it in the future. And what happened in the past, the sons of Belial, they went into technology, and they started using technology to control, monitor, manipulate, dominate. They even want to dominate nature with technology, which is insane. And you can see that in every level, even down to the food production. It's like dominating nature rather than working with nature and asking the crops what they need and being in touch with the nature spirits and things like that. So it's a total shift away from natural law, you might say, or universal law, which is what we're all under. And everybody knows that when you step outside of universal law, there's the old karmic, or I call it karma, but right now it's more like truckma. It just comes in and puts things back, So whenever we get out of balance, nature always restores the balance. It might be a little slow to act, but it's very thorough when it does act. So we're in those times again. So we have the sons of Belial in the ancient times were those who worshiped the intellect, science. They wanted to control and dominate and use technology for their own means in a very self-serving manner. And we can see that throughout the system. Even our political system there are no two parties anymore. It's a one-party system controlled by the elite. And there's a new party coming in, which was more of a freedom party, or the law of one, which I want to talk about. Now, the law of one, the main thing in the law of one is do no harm. And as long as you're not harming somebody else or destroying the environment, you should be free to live a loving, joyous, prosperous life in harmony with nature. You shouldn't be subject to the manufactured lack, the planned obsolescence that's going on right now. That's just extreme waste and capitalization, at the expense of humanity and nature, which is where we're at right now, and we're phasing out of that. So in ancient times, what happens is the tyranny took hold. The tyranny actually overran those who were more loving and joyous and peaceful, and pretty much took over. And we're experiencing that right now. But this time, the law of one, the people that are focused on love and joy and peace and service, are stepping up to the plate. And this is happening on a very mass scale. So you're seeing this in all of these Occupy movements, these major movements where they're throwing out the tyrants here and there, and this is happening on a global scale. It's much bigger than we can imagine, because it's as if our own God selves are invading the planet right now. So everybody's waiting for the landing, the big invasion, everything else. It's already happened. It's the souls that have entered the bodies here on the earth. The Pleiadians have a very strong message. Basically, they have more genetic stock in the planet than any other star nation, any other group. They're not alone in this project. There's other star nations that are helping them with this major transformation. But because they have more genetic stock here, according to universal law, they've been past the scepter. They're more in charge. And the fact that they actually started the two colonies of Atlantis and Lemuria that split apart and became, warring factions on each other. Because of that, they have a bit of a karmic duty, you might say, or ties, to help us get through this transition. So it's a process. It's very important right now for people to realize is that they are working on very subtle levels. They're working with the consciousness grid, and they're working with the energy grid. They're creating shifts on the highest levels, and it's up to us to be the hands and feet of those shifts. And there's so many people that think that these Pleiadians are going to land and they're going to disarm all of the military, and they're going to disarm the tyrants, and they're going to put them in little cages and take them off and drop them off on some other planet with predators and parasites, which would be my idea, but unfortunately they don't work that way. But anyway, it just doesn't work that way. They're here not to create any dependencies. They don't want to disempower people. If they do everything for us, it creates an immense dependency and an immense babysitting job. They're not here for that. They're here to assist us, to help ourselves and remove some of the other influences that have been at play, other unseen influences that have been guiding humanity for quite some time to take this downward spiral that we're presently on. So I've got a little visitor here. A little bird just came by. But anyway, it's interesting when you really get it together. I think that was my cue in this vision quest that I just did. I was out in the forest, all alone on this lake, this beautiful lake, and very warm up mountain lake. It's not real deep, so it's pretty warm. And I was swimming in the lake, and I said, I'm going to do my practices where I'm going to do the earth elements and my Yigong practices. And so, I was doing water, and water's, I know you can't see this, but water's a very flowing movement where you're doing the hands, and I'm standing in the water and doing this flowing movement in the water. And while I was doing that practice, I was calling on spirit, and I was just getting higher kite, and all the fish in the lake just showed up, and they started swirling around me. And a whole school of fish started swirling around me, and I like to fish too. And after that experience, I probably end up giving up fishing now, because I totally bonded with these fish, and they were just coming up and playing all around me and saying hi, and I could feel their spirit and their energy. And it's so important right now to get out in nature and become one with nature and listen to nature, because nature is on the move. And I can explain this process in a simple way. Basically, the first thing that we experience on the earth is we're going to see, like, let's say earthquakes, volcanoes, increases in that. We're going to see erratic weather. Everything is increasing exponentially. But we know this is happening. This is statistically proven that this is happening. There's this incredible increase, but we don't know exactly why this is happening. And so now the scientists are just now starting to figure out that, wow, it's the sun. The sun is generating these cycles. And there's these cycles that are generated by the sun, but there's even bigger cycles that affect the sun. And that's what I want to talk about. Our main thing happening right now is that we are in alignment with the Pleiadian system, with Alcyon, their central sun. We also are coming into alignment with galactic plane, where the Earth is going to be exposed, not just the Earth, but the whole solar system, to huge magnetic fluctuations in energy. The sun is reacting to this, and it's just threw off in the past, I think when we're doing this tape, I think in the past 78 hours, I think there was something like 19 or 20 M-class and some X-class flares hitting the planet. And when these M-class flares and these bursts of energy hit the planet through sympathetic resonance, everything has to rise, everything has to expand with this energy coming in. And it brings up anything of a baser nature. So all of our old wounds and traumas and wrong conclusions from past experience are coming up. And there's a lot of emotional outbursts and a lot of social changes that happen that are tied in with this, and physical earth changes as well. But we have to pay attention to this process and flow with it and tap into it and allow it to do its work, and surrender our past, release the past, have the courage to heal, have the courage to cry if you need to. Men need to get in touch with their emotional bodies and start stop with this patriarchal againstness separation game that's been going on for so long. It's coming to a close. The divine feminine is coming in real strong right now. Most of the Pleiadian energy is feminine energy. So this energy coming in is just incredible. There's no man that can stop it. They are playing around with all their toys and all their surveillance toys and all of their disempowerment toys and frequency toys and psychotronics and things like that. That is going to be a moot point because all of that technology is going to be rendered useless. The grid eventually will go down. The bank cards aren't going to work. The internets, everything isn't going to work. And I hate to bring this to you, but it's just a reality. The old system has to collapse before the new system comes in. And the new energies are just phenomenal. The new technologies, the new energies are beyond your imagination, but there's an interim process where there is going to be a lot of challenges and a lot of changes. And these higher beings are there to support us through these changes. So we can go within, we can connect in, make our own personal God, Spirit, Creator connection. We can hook in with these other beings that have done the same thing. They're like our elder brothers and sisters that are here to help us. But, like a baby, if you keep holding a baby up, it never learns to walk. If you keep doing it for it, it never learns to walk. We need to walk, we need to fall, we need to crawl, we need to do all these things to get strengthen ourselves, so they understand this. So anyway, they're here to assist us and help us help ourselves. There's an old saying, man plans and God laughs. And that's what's happening with the plans of the tyrants. They're folding in. And then there's another saying, God helps those who help themselves. And so if you're on the path and you've chosen to live a thoroughly loving, joyous, abundant life of service, then help is going to come to you and you'll receive this help. If you take the downward spiral into separation and control and domination and greed, then that's going to be accelerated as well, and that's going to collapse because it's not frequency specific to where the planet is going. So the Pleiadians are here to assist us in this evolutionary jump that we're going through, and they don't have to do anything to tyranny because it's going to do it to itself. It's going to take itself out. It's not frequency specific. It can't even reincarnate on where the Earth is going. So it's very important to realize that. The more we need to do is stand in our own self-authority, focus on love and joy and peace, and know that you have a divine right to live a loving, joyous, abundant life. And that is the consciousness that's coming to the planet. So all I can say is buckle up, hang on. It's going to be a wild ride. And don't let anybody steal your love, your joy, your bliss, or your power. Know that the power is within. Have a great day.